Hey everyone, this is our Dune Part 2 super special in 2 parts in one episode of a podcast. Sounds confusing, but what you'll be getting in this episode is first us recording our recap of the first Dune movie on our way to the new Dune movie, and then you'll get the full breakdown of Dune Part 2 in this same episode. So strap in for what was a lot of fun with myself and Becky and Lily. Happy listening.
Unbuckled my seatbelt.
Because only one of us gets to be safe,
okay.
And I feel like it should be me today. I've done a lot of driving around without seatbelts.
Okay, here we are.
I never get a chance in the Uber.
Here we are in the Friday Night Movie remote studio, aka Shai's Suburban, on our way to see Dune Part 2. And I'm going to give Lily, who is in quite a state right now, a recap of Dune Part 1, going solely off my memory of having seen it 3 years ago.
Can I try to give a recap first?
Yes.
Okay. So there's this kid, his name is Dune. His dad...
That sounds right.
Yeah. His dad... Fred Dune, played by Oscar Isaac, gets sent on a business trip, and
doesn't the dad feel like he's got like a real Latino feel to him in the movie? Like I know that Oscar Isaac is Guatemalan? Mm-hmm. I just feel like he had like a flair. Like really. All
right, so Oscar Isaac goes on a
suit the world.
Oscar Isaac goes on a business trip. He gets killed by his colleagues, and then Dune goes out, and then Dune goes out to live with Zendaya in the desert.
It's very close. Okay, so
I feel like of the Momoa, Aquaman dies.
Okay, all right. So people remember bits and pieces, but the important politics to know. Lily loves a movie with really complicated alien politics. Is that
looks like Star Wars?
House Atreides, Paul of House Atreides, who's the main character. His family is sent by the Emperor from the water planet they live on, that I can't remember the name of it, to go take over the desert sand planet and mine the spice,
if you will.
No. Somebody else had already taken over. It was being run by the Harkonnens. And they're super, super, super evil. But basically, the Emperor decided...
Not the desert people.
No, it's not the desert people.
The white painted, pasty.
Yeah, like the white pasty people.
Skarsgård.
Yeah. Stellan Skarsgård, right?
See, right. I know a lot more than you think.
So, but the reason that they were sent there is because the Emperor was like constructing the demise of House Atreides, because feeling like they've just become like too stable, too powerful, and it's basically a trick here. It's like sending them to the planet, so knowing that once the Harkonnens are out, they're gonna try and like destroy and kill the entire House Atreides.
It's like when you're in the office and you're getting too big for your britches, and someone sends you on this business trip, and they're like, "You're the only one who can do it,"
and then you get murdered.
Yeah, it's literally, that's what happens in The Godfather, I feel like, all the time.
Okay, so it's a similar idea. But there are other elements to know here, is that Paul's mother is part of like, kind of like a cult of witches, but they're not like they're sort of a cult. Well, anyways, and they believe in like, there's going to be like a chosen one, like a Messiah. And for like thousands of years, they're waiting for this. And Paul's mother, and Paul's mother believes that.
I need to go back a beat.
Hold on. And Paul's mother believes that he is that chosen one.
Oh, like from birth. Is she his real mom?
She's his. No. She's his real mom.
But she always knew in her heart.
She feels that he is the one.
Or Charlotte Rampling.
Who? Wait, how many times have you seen this movie?
just once at home. But Charlotte Rampling is the bad Scientologist.
I think you know more than I do at this
she's
point.
in the cult, and she's like kind of bad.
Is that the old lady witch?
Yeah.
Well,
And she's like
the thing about these, they're basically advisors to the different planets or kingdoms or whatever, and they have some kind of like mind control powers, and maybe they're a little evil, but they're not that they're evil. I think so much as they have their own like agenda that they're working towards, which is this whole idea of like they're a messiah.
Is Team Ferguson, the mom, is her cult okay with him being like they're on board with?
It's controversial. It's controversial.
Okay.
And I think some of the people on the sand planet, what's the sand planet called?
Tatooine.
Also believed. Okay, yes. Lily checked IMDb. Nobody questioned you. Arrakis. Yes, there we go. And Arrakis, some of them they do believe that he is like that.
Okay,
the prophecy is about him.
It's something I don't understand politically. The Skarsgårds, who just says you're not in power anymore?
There's an emperor above them.
Okay.
So there's these different houses that control the planets, and then there's like the emperor.
And Atreides is in because they assume it's just going to be the demise of the Atreides.
And they basically are like, first of all, they're not going to be able to survive on Arrakis mining the sand because it's so dangerous, and
for the spice.
For the spice, it's called spice, and it allows like intergalactic travel or whatever.
So they were like, Arrakis Atreides, let's just call this spice. It's too many words.
But I think they did us a favor.
Agreed.
Turmeric.
Vlad says it's just turmeric. And the spice has
No one really knows what turmeric is.
But it's very anti-inflammatory.
It is anti-inflammatory, but
no one really knows.
Like, does anyone know?
And so part of the prophecy for the people of Arrakis, like the
locals,
the indigenous people of Arrakis, is that like this outsider would come, but he would he would know their customs and their ways without ever having to learn them, and like Paul is like kind of able to very easily adapt to being on Arrakis, and there's all these like signs that he could be
the Messiah,
basically the Messiah. And essentially, like, here's where we're at the start of the new movie, is that at the end of the first one, the Harkonnens attack.
That's the Skarsgård.
That's the pale white people, like the bald.
Member of the group.
They attack. They kill Oscar Isaac, and Paul and his mom have to escape.
Paul and
his mom is.
Okay.
They escape. They end up like lost in the desert. That's very complicated. They find Aquaman. Aquaman dies. I don't know what happens to Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin is missing.
Okay, I have two things to say.
But
one is, I remember they like hide in a special tent all night, surviving.
Yeah, there's all these like special sand tricks and gear that you have.
You know who doesn't fit in this movie?
Who?
Josh Brolin. I'm sorry. I
feel like he really does fit. I feel like
I didn't read the book.
I feel like Aquaman doesn't fit. He's such a weird
one of them
fit.
fit in this
but Josh
movie.
Brolin fits.
Okay, you find
yeah.
in the movie. You read the book, so I don't know.
And I do
it
think
just seems like, I mean, honestly, Oscar Isaac seemed out of place.
No, but I think Timothy Chalamet is perfectly cast.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But I just, there's certain like actors that I'm like the casting.
But basically, they're on the run, and they end up the mom and Paul, and they end up like confronting a group of the what would be the correct term for the Arrakis people? Iraqians? Fremen. Oh, the Fremen. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what they're called. No, they're called Fremen.
Okay, but that's ridiculous because it's just Fremen.
No, but I think they're called Fremen in the book.
Wait, what's
issues.
It's the sorry.
Vlad
He doesn't want to be recorded. Sorry. Well, we'll edit that out. But you know what? We won't, because he never listens, so he won't know either way.
Fine. But you know who does weirdly seem like they should be in the movie? What did he say? What did he say?
He said, "What's the name of this podcast?"
Yeah, that's accurate. Like I feel like, Javier Bardem. People were like, he should be in this.
But he is. He's the leader of the Fremen.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's so out of place too.
No, I think he makes lots of sense. Anyways,
does he make
but
lots
the
of sense?
point?
He's from Madrid.
Oh my God, I'm trying to explain. Well, I don't think he's from Arrakis, Lily. No one's saying that like the part should have gone to like an indigenous Arrakis person.
Casting. I'm not sure they did. I just don't know if this casting is authentic.
Okay, but the whole but the point that I want to make
Is that Zendaya's cast amazing?
I actually don't remember, but maybe. But
So awesome.
but I love Rebecca Ferguson in it. But
that's good.
No, that like it ends. So him and his mom end up confronting this like group of Fremen, or as Lily calls them, Freemen.
They're
not what they're called.
not Fremen.
And he basically has to fight to the death with one of them, and he doesn't want to, and he keeps like basically allowing the what.
This happened in the movie, or is this in the book? Because
No, this is the ending of the movie. He has to do that like hand-to-hand combat basically with this guy, and
Jam makes him.
no, the guy challenges him. I'm pretty sure the guy challenges him, and like in their custom, it would have to be to the death. And Paul keeps on like trying not to kill him because he's not, that's like
He's never killed before.
he's never killed before. But
He's a prince.
But like Paul has the ability to like just sort of see the future a little bit, right? Isn't that part of it? Or like glean the future? He has like premonitions.
He's tripping on spice the entire time.
He's tripping on
a
spice.
lightweight.
Yeah, but he's a lightweight. No, but he can kind of like he have like these like little premonitions, and he ends up beating the guy in this fight as much as he doesn't want to kill him. And so essentially like the Fremen accept him and his mom as part of their tribe, as part of their like community.
So he's
at that
on
point he
drugs?
the spice to him is like a psychedelic.
Okay. But he can see the future.
Yeah, and by the way, when you live out in the desert or in the caves or wherever they live, amongst the spice, your eye, like the whites of your eyes turn blue. So it's just like a little detail when you're like, why is everyone's eyes like a weird color? It's just part of like the factor. Anyway, so that's where we are at the start of this
So he's accepted
movie.
into their culture, but you're missing out.
He's accepted into like their
now
tribe, basically.
the Fremen have to fight.
I don't know
bad
who
guys?
I don't
Josh
know who's
Brolin somehow is still alive.
he's gonna be alive. And there's gonna be more bad guys. But so that's it. That's all I remember.
Austin Butler.
Question. Yeah, I want to know. Okay, Austin Butler, Batista, and the guy who had the giant
Batista's
bug
in
growing out of his butt in the first movie. Where are they in all of this?
A butt growing out of his
Yeah,
butt?
there was a guy who like raised himself up in the air.
No, that's Skarsgård.
That's
He's
the
like
emperor,
he's
like
the head
the
of
bad guy.
he's not the emperor. He's the head of
No, I meant, like,
the
Star
leader of the
Wars, like
Harkonnens.
emperor. He's like falling apart.
So yeah.
100%. He is. Tell me again when this movie was made, because in 1987 in G.I. Joe the movie, they had a bad guy voiced by Burgess Meredith called Globulus, and I swear he looks just like this guy in this
But
movie.
I don't know when
Which
Dune
one
was
came
written. Let me check.
Dune, I don't know. Anyways, that's our
But now we have new characters. Florence.
I don't know who any of the new characters are. I was giving you, this is not, I
not
was
in the
giving
first
you the
movie.
recap of the first movie. So for anyone who's listened to this, I also recommend you like read an official recap or like watch a recap video, because I cannot guarantee the accuracy of this Dune Part 1 recap, but we're very excited to see Part 2, and let's just hope it's a better outcome than The Last Jedi. That's all I have to say. I don't think we can
Oscar
handle.
Isaac was also in.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have.
So like it's
Yeah.
Oh, there's a third movie.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a third.
Yeah, there's more Dune.
there's
All
more
right,
Dune.
all right. Goodbye. We'll we'll report back.
No.
All right, it's getting very messy. I'm trying to land the plane here. There's lots of people talking over me. We'll check in again after.
Tell you, it's a good thing It's a good thing you told me, because I was walking into this thinking this was the conclusion, and I was going to be very confused.
No. All right. Well, we'll report back after we see it. All right. Goodbye.
What is happening? Did she literally turn a kettle on and then walk out of the room? Is she making more coffee? Does she not? Does she think the coffee's silent?
No, you can see the sound waves of it. Look. Oh no, they're not so bad.
Here we are
Okay.
at the
Okay.
Friday night movie coffee shop.
This is what the seats sounded like in that movie theater. I find that very uncomfortable. I'm not a fan. Becky, tell them.
Was it a vibrator or was that just the
Vlad
base?
said that he thought that it was it's on purpose.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, that the seats are
it was
tied.
like a roller coaster.
It was like
ride.
a smell-o-vision thing.
No, I think that. Okay, we'll start. We'll discuss.
What would smell-o-vision be like for spice? Turmeric.
Turmeric. Yeah. Well, no one knows how it smells because no one's ever seen it.
Should I do a clap?
No, it's fine. Here we are, and welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. You will have already heard our pre-Dune 2 Part 1, Part 2, Dune Part 2, Part 1 podcast, which was on the drive.
It's really Dune Part 1 recap.
It's a Dune Part 1 recap.
/ making things up.
And I do think that there's going to be lots of spoilers in this. Like, first of all, I was sort of joking when I said that the main character's name is Dune. The big reveal at the end of this movie that like solidifies Atreyu's rule over all the people is when he says, I know the name of the planet now. And all the names are like super complicated.
No,
and then he goes,
worse.
Dune.
He asks some guy, and he's like, like about the planet, and like some guy in the crowd is like, we will revert back to the original name. And all the names are so hard to pronounce. And he's just like, what was the name of the original planet? Dune.
Now,
Like,
that being said,
maybe he was translating to English for him.
that being said, I think this movie is amazing, and seeing it in the Dolby Atmos screen, which Becky always insists on, it was like a physical experience. Like, I just came back from Disney World, sorry. Hold on, Allie's coffee's ready.
It could also be the dishwasher, which he also started right before we started. Maybe you should turn the oven on too.
Yeah. Disney, it wasn't, put it this way. Who turned to me? Was it Lily or Allie? Someone turned to me during the movie and said, where's the Disney ride of this worm riding stuff?
Me.
Yeah,
It
because
looked amazing.
This is one of those moments where you see something in the movies and I was like, I've never seen something like this before. This is amazing. It was a physical experience. Every time one of those worms came on the screen and it went like, duh, my whole body vibrated it.
I mean, like literally, because I think the seats were vibrating, but
Oh, okay. I thought that was just the low
it's
note.
not
the brown note.
okay. Yes, the story and the acting and all that is fantastic, but it's an experience. This film, like you're sitting there for 2 hours and 45 minutes, but you are immersed in a whole other world, and it's so beautiful and terrifying and creepy, and I love it. I just love every minute of it. I was soaking it in. And I have, what's funny though, is that there's, it's incredibly beautiful. The visuals are stunning, the effects and all that. But the scene that stuck with me the most that I can't stop thinking about, it's the first thing I talked to Lily about this morning, is, again, lots of spoilers, is the...
Wait, can I guess?
Oh, yeah.
Was it when they sucked the juice out of the baby worm?
No, ew.
Was it when
But that was so gross.
the blob guy went in the hot tub?
Oh, I hate those scenes too. No,
I loved all those scenes.
No, I love them, but like they're so
amazing.
gross.
Jabba the Skarsgård is really
Jabba the Skarsgård. No, it was the fight scene at the end.
The final fight scene?
Yeah, the final fight scene. You see so many fight scenes, right? It's very hard to make one look or feel.
This movie are really good.
Look or feel original, or surprising or exciting, and it was. I
This
thought
is
it
the
was
fight between Elvis and Willy Wonka.
Yeah, between Elvis and Willy Wonka at the end. I just thought it was there was something about it that was different. The speed at which they fight, the sound effects, the way that it's shot, part in that silhouette and part in those really tight close-ups. It's so rare to see a fight scene that feels fresh and exciting, and you think you know what's going to happen, but at the same time, it catches you off guard.
I'll say this.
How do you even achieve that these days?
Because I don't know the story. And you did say this was the second part of the movie.
I think that's important to mention. I don't think people realize, and it's really important going into it, because otherwise you're like, wait, how long is this movie going to be?
During that fight scene, they did such a good job with the tension that I was like, maybe this is the end.
Yeah.
But I also
part
thought...
2 of at least 3.
But also, well, there's like 24 books.
Yeah,
So-
but I think they're only doing like the first like 2.
Right. I think it's the first 2, and the
books.
second book is divided into 2 movies.
Yeah.
And so the thing is when
Harry Potter of Dune, 9 movies.
Yeah, but you know what? This is the kind. If this is how they're dividing a book into 2, I'm on board.
You're like, this is my new Star Wars.
It's not my new Star Wars because okay. So I think,
but I will say there are a few things since Star Wars in 79 that it came out. 77. I think that there are a few movies like in space this well done.
This epic. So here
or planets or whatever.
I also thought though when they were about to fight, I was ready for them to be like, all right, like, when they agree that they're gonna
and then it's gonna end.
I thought it was gonna be like credits, but it wasn't. No, it ended on a great note. This, I think the way I don't enjoy Empire Strikes Back because as a kid, it's like traumatizing the end of that movie. I love when the Ewoks come in and win in Return of the Jedi, but as an adult. This one, this middle section of this story is so incredibly interesting. Mm-hmm. And while there are lots of familiar things, you could just call this Game of Thrones in space. It just is better
and I
all
think
around.
One of the reasons that it's better is because while there's politics, it's very simple. Well, and so you get to focus on the
This is
action.
what I wanted to say. I just read some, one, like the reviews are overall very good. But one review was like a lot warmier and politically dense.
It's not that politically dense at all.
Warmier,
it's very simple.
That's a plus. But 2, this like political whatever. Here's the thing. If you've watched Oppenheimer, there is nothing dense after that. Like I can follow along the political strategies of this world of Dune 1,000 times better than Star Wars.
I find it simpler than the politics of all these other.
And
it's
same
like
things with Game of Thrones. I actually think that Game of Thrones.
Sit there and listen about photons imploding for 3 hours. This is very simple.
Also, Game of Thrones and Succession have made it have trained us culturally to understand. Got it. There's an emperor. There needs to be a marriage. Someone might betray someone.
It's like there's an emperor. One house. He didn't like one house, so he set the other one up to kill them all. All right, great.
It's Shakespeare.
Now it's
literally
Shakespeare.
Like King Lear or whatever. But
and
the point is,
their secret lineage.
But also, I think a very cool thing about this movie, which makes it better than the first one. I do think this movie is better than the first.
I 100% agree.
But I do think it's better than the first one. Is because well, this happens in both, but I do like this overall about Dune. It's on one planet. We're in one location. Sometimes it's hard in these movies where you're bopping around to all these different places all the time and you don't get to be in this place. You really feel like you spent 3 hours on this planet. Yeah. That's one. That's amazingly immersive. 2 is that it's outdoors. Like it's in the environment of the planet. A lot of the first movie... There's a lot of like inside the fortresses and stuff. This, I felt like we were like exposed to the elements the whole time. It was and just at the very end, there's a chunk indoors. But otherwise, you really feel like you're there. It's quite impressive. Plus, I live in a place where they don't have modern movie theaters. So I know you guys are all used to it, but I do have to say...
We don't go to the Dolby Atmos for every movie.
No, but that's more than the sound, because I was a bit stressed by the seat moving. It bothered me, but was the picture. Like I have never seen something like that on a screen like that. That it was so beautiful.
Is it a hot take to say Dolby Atmos is way better than IMAX? IMAX is just super loud.
IMAX is loud and it's just a big screen.
IMAX makes you like want to barf. It's too big. I don't need a screen.
If a film is not shot for IMAX, as in like in not just in the size format, but in the style of what makes IMAX particular,
stuff on the side,
which is like a lot of lateral movements, right? And
I don't need that.
And right, I find it the same thing. I find it's just very large and a bit barfy,
right?
And it's too loud as opposed to being like
the size of normal theaters that we went to.
It was a big one for here.
It was a big one, but it didn't have the.
It's very large and it's very beautiful. It's like. The color, the clarity, it's gorgeous. I have another hot take that I read, but I don't agree with, but someone also was saying this is Zendaya's movie. Now, Zendaya forever. She's incredible. And I do think she carries such an important thread throughout the movie, but it's both like,
Chalamet is anchoring
also
it. He's
And Ferguson.
fantastic.
and Rebecca Ferguson. Oh my
Three of
gosh.
them.
I do think the three of them carry the film together evenly. I don't think it's only her movie, even though she's amazing.
His trajectory from the start of the film to the ending is
When you have 3 hours, you can really get into someone's arc.
you can really get a start, but it really
Right, 3 people, 3 hours.
no, but you really feels not like just earned, but you have gone on this psychological, emotional journey with him, and where he is at the end, you're like, you understand, you're there with him.
I want to say about that is that even though it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, and at point I was
It
I was
felt
like,
short. It didn't feel long.
At points I felt like, ooh, this is long, but
Again, watch Oppenheimer.
Not because I
Doesn't feel long.
No, not because I was bored, but what I kept saying to myself in my head every time,
I
like,
have to pee. Should I go?
no, I didn't pee once. I did not want to get up. I didn't want to miss.
Disclaimer. We should do a disclaimer to help people.
Pee before
I
you
know
go?
when when
pee
to
before you
go.
but I know the exact moment if you have to pee, when you're not going to miss anything, and the person
it's like at the
next to you
halfway point.
can tell you what you missed.
Yeah.
It's really
So, but what I would say is this: is that I felt like, and this is a Denis Villeneuve and maybe the editor, but like, the movie is both extremely patient in how they build all of the character stuff, but when they need to make something go fast,
They cut, like,
they go
yeah,
fast.
yeah.
Like there's a scene where he's going back to the south and he makes the decision to drink the blue water, which you know has been coming from the beginning of the
they
movie.
tell you,
Because in the
yeah.
beginning of the movie, they say no man can drink this water.
Right.
And like you're like, well, I
Show
guess
me
we
the
know.
poisonous water in the first act.
So what you know what they don't do? They don't show him walking all the way to the room and making the decision. You knew he was going to make this
No,
decision. They cut to him doing
moves
it, and it
very
was so
fast.
smart when they did that because I was like, oh, we've got an hour left. I'm going to have to watch him agonize over this decision. Nope. They went and they showed
But you're
him
right that it's really patient in other places.
in the character stuff,
Yeah.
but it doesn't waste
but it
time.
moves where it needs to move because there'll be a slower scene and then the cut goes to like almost immediately to action. It'll slow down a little bit and then it bumps up. It's not paced the same the whole way. It's not slow the entire time. And it's actually nice because as you're starting to get like, oh God, are they going to keep talking for a while? No. Okay, we move.
I think
Also, every
it's
once in a while they're talking, and then someone turns into Gollum, and so it has like the mom has the Gollum
Like,
voice
they're like, wake up, audience.
talking to her,
They use the voice.
like talking baby.
No, but that's like
Talking fetus?
There's the talking fetus, which
two
we have to
things.
put a pin in and get into that in
Yeah,
a second.
don't tell people in Alabama.
No, definitely not.
This
Yes.
movie is about a hero
Unborn.
coming back from the dead and living fetuses.
Right.
Well,
But wait. Let's go back for a second to the voice. That definitely keeps you on your toes because you feel like you're getting yelled at. Pay attention during the
so
movie.
you know the whole thing with the voice. That's part of being one of the Bene Gesserits. It's like being one of these priestesses. Is that they can do this sort of mind control voice, but it's only women that have this role and that can learn to do it. Which is why when Paul does it, because his mom had taught him, the woman,
The Reverend Mother?
Charlotte Rambling, is like blasphemy. That's what she says because he's not. Men are not allowed to learn to do this. They're not taught to do this. They shouldn't be able to do it. But she has always
she's a
believed.
really interesting character.
The mom has always believed that he is the
Messiah.
the Messiah, that he's the one, and which is why she, from the time he was young, has been like training him.
And what I found very interesting,
But it's like illegal in their practice.
Yeah.
It's not good.
because she's believed that. And early in the movie, when she's essentially given the choice between death or become the new cult leader, she picks the cult leader job to essentially to stay alive, but
and to save him.
and to save him and to make this prophecy come true and all that stuff. But there's a certain self-preservation element to it that I found so interesting. And then she goes and she's like, when they get into her mindset, and it's a little bit expositional because they literally have her talking to her baby fetus and telling you what the plan is, which I think they already did a good job explaining, but helpful because it makes it easy to recap. When she basically makes a strategy on how she is going to convert the masses to become his followers, and it makes it terrifyingly believable.
It is.
Well, yeah, and it really it makes her character very complex because she's not like doing this thing that she's been doing with her kids since he's young. She's not 100% good.
Well, yeah, we really learned
Like
that
on
she comes
paper.
from also like a bad bloodline.
Right. But like on paper, you know what I mean? And that makes it really interesting that it's not as simple, the good force, the bad force, dark versus light. It is complex, the story, in terms of what is good and who is good and bad and sacrifice and all that. That's
but like there is a little bit of a Reza Palpatine in this movie.
yeah.
Which like never bothered me much. I think it mostly bothered people because they didn't think it was the plan all the time and it was done at the last minute. But this was always the part of the story when you find out that she's really a Skarsgård. But I thought it was exciting. I like those bloodline stories in movies. It's very Shakespearean. I think it's interesting. Like, not everybody's a no one. This whole movie's about whether or not bloodlines are important. What I think is also interesting about Paul Artemis is that he
Wonka.
his strategy for becoming the Messiah, I'm not sure. Does he really not believe it, or is he playing it down?
I think he starts to believe it. I think he starts to believe.
Becky
He
knows the
doesn't
real
necessarily.
I don't remember.
I don't think he necessarily believes it at the beginning, but it's irrelevant because he doesn't want it. So even if
reluctant
he's
hero,
right,
right?
reluctant hero. Like even if it's true or not, he's made the choice that he doesn't want it because it's going to ultimately. A lot of people will die if he does take it. He wants to be with his girlfriend. He's like, I'll just help you. No one will notice. And then when his hand is forced, because his hand is forced,
Very
similar to
Last
his
Kingdom.
mom, yeah, when his hand is forced, he's like, well. I guess we're doing this.
I don't remember from the book, but from the movie, what I got was it's irrelevant whether or not he believes he is the one. He knows he has to step into the role to
Like
help
Neo.
save the planet from the Harkonnens. That the way that he's going to get his revenge for his father and the way he's going
Very
to
similar to the Matrix. Now that I think about it,
is that he has to step into this role and he has to show people that he believes it, whether or not he really does. Because that's how they're going to be able to, because enough people believe in the prophecy and the emperor will and the Harkonnen, like it's scary enough that if he steps into that role, he can help liberate them from the Harkonnens and the emperor. And then but he has these visions of what could be to come.
That's his Doctor Strange. I see multiple.
Yeah, he sees multiple.
But he sees one way through.
But the part that makes me think that he doesn't fully buy into it is that, or that he's playing the role of it more than necessarily fully buys into it at this point, is, again, like spoiler, so please really don't listen to it unless
this does not make sense to anyone.
No, is at the end before he makes the deal with the Emperor, when he turns to Johnny and he's like, for as long as I breathe,
I love you.
I'll love you.
Yeah, he's basically saying
that, like,
I'm doing this because
I have to, and I'm doing it to help
your people
liberate
be
the
free.
planet, but
Right.
it's not.
But he's not guaranteeing they're going to end up together.
No,
not at all. He's saying we're not. He's saying I'm going to go do this.
He does say she will eventually get on board, like that she won't hate him. But
But she does. She fucking leaves at the end. That's a great ending for her.
I thought that was great on many levels
her.
because I realized they're going to have this galactical holy war coming up, but also another version of this to me would be really interesting if the next thing was he conquers the planet and then there's the civil war that happens with all these people that were united, but you have the fundamentalists and you have the non-believers and you have the people that are more Marxist, right? Like they have all these different tribes. Yeah, good luck with running that place.
And a massively valuable natural resource in the middle.
In a desert.
Right.
Like we've seen how that plays out in real life.
But the idea that what they believe, the prophecy that they believe, is that once this Messiah returns, he's going to make the desert bloom, right? He's going to bring water, which then you would assume the spice would disappear or be less, right? Because the spice is out in the sand and the dunes. But if he turns it into,
he's supposed to bring green. They're supposed to plant trees.
Well, he had
again.
a dream of an ocean. with his
He had
unborn sister.
Dream of an ocean. I don't think you can bring an ocean to a planet. I think it might be the two worlds, his home planet and this planet.
Oh, interesting.
Or him. Yeah, because I don't think.
When he says at the end, "Well, I'll take you.
We'll make the planet."
No, but
green.
when he says to them,
I'll take you to paradise.
he goes, "I'll take you to paradise." Are they all going back to his home planet?
They
now?
might be.
Are they all getting on ships and going to go colonize
No,
his home
I
planet?
thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna do
there's-
some sort of like mining for water.
But he says, "I'll take you to paradise."
Yeah, or maybe they're all gonna die.
Or maybe there's going to be
Just
like
a
because they're
full
going to
nuclear-
fight all the
By
other
the way,
planets.
how does no one have radiation poisoning after
It was
they
very
shot?
far. It was very far from where they were.
But it wasn't that far.
I mean, I guess.
They shot
I can tell
three
you
atomic
I
weapons.
can tell you what I've learned about radiation poisoning from Oppenheimer.
Yes, exactly. What would Oppenheimer say?
So Oppenheimer would say that the people that were away from the blast would have been fine. Like, then they're watching it from a distance, they have no problem. But the seconds after are the worst seconds of radiation poisoning, and then it diminishes. There's like two types of radiation, one that happens during the blast and then the one happens after. And the one that happens after is very slow. And yeah, I guess if you went to the site, if you were near the site, it's like
I guess that's why
fine.
they don't shoot it at the site and just kill
they
all of the
do
bad
near it
guys
and then
he
disable the
establishes in that very
Right.
important moment. He goes, "We need the Emperor alive."
right. So
Yeah.
he doesn't like the radiation's adjacent. The bomb is adjacent and it disables the shield of the Emperor's unit of his like giant spaceship. But they don't actually, and I think they only use 3, so he has like another.
By the way,
It's like another
89.
like yeah.
by the
Okay,
way,
I have questions and I have 2 holes to poke, and that my holes are only because I
And I have a
assume they
great
just
Easter
need
egg.
to move the story along. Like I get that they just need to move it, but one question is, how long are the Atreus on the planet?
The Atreides, it's been probably a total of 1 year because, no, it's been the whole. If you go by the mom's pregnancy,
Oh, yeah.
when the dad dies, she's just pregnant.
So it's a
like
few
a
months.
day
And
pregnant,
they had just arrived?
They had been there for maybe a few months before, 3 months, 6 months, not long,
built
not more
that,
than a
like,
year.
hidden Petra.
no, that was already there.
No, what do you?
The Petra thing with the water and
that-
all
No, no,
That's the
the
Fremen.
no, the secret cave of atomic weapons.
No, that was built. That was where their family stash was. I don't think it was built
It
when
wasn't.
they just moved in.
No. They moved their atomic weapons to the planet.
Oh,
I
when
think,
they moved
That's
in.
what I understood.
Oh, when they moved in.
But
Like-
that's
So
not
they
a
like
big.
just like did a quick move of like
Yeah, when they
90
went.
Yeah,
atomic
yeah.
weapons and built that like crazy cave.
no, they put it in the
They
cave.
put it in the cave.
Existing
The
cave.
cave
That was the whole
there.
thing.
That was
It
the whole
was
point.
saved in plain
It
sight.
was like in a very easy. It's a place no one would think to look because it's in plain sight. That's where they hid their atomic weapons.
Oh, okay. So they just brought him with the moving trucks when they moved.
Yeah,
to the
with
planet.
the with
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Because remember before Paul in the first movie before Paul moves, it's months if not like a year or years that it's many months that the Atreides people are preparing to move, and Aquaman, Duncan Idaho, has gone out many months before to learn about the Fremen, and that's why
love
he's
Duncan Idaho.
Remember.
What a name.
Yeah.
So
Some of
he's
the names
gone
are
out many months
so-
before them. So they've been preparing. It's not like
Yeah.
by the
Some of the
time
names are really interesting. Like
Duncan
Leia
Idaho.
Seydoux' name is. She's like, my name is Margaret Thatcher Trudeau, like the third. And they're just like, what? Where did that? And like Duncan Idaho, like what is his name? Frank.
I mean, I guess you get
Frankert,
to
whatever wrote
Herbert.
it.
Herbert,
Frank Herbert.
the guy who.
Frank
Yeah, but I
Herbert?
mean, look, you get to name whoever you want
Exactly.
in
He
that
was
space
like, you know
movie.
what? I got some cool names. I'm just using them.
Duncan Idaho is a very cool
It's
name,
a very
but it just
cool
doesn't
name. Like,
seem
he
like
should
a
have his
space
own-
name.
It doesn't
And
seem
then
like a
there's
space name.
there's Bron Solo,
Right.
which is Brolin, right?
Josh
I think it's
Brolin.
Warmaster Gurney.
Yeah. But
That's
to
a
me,
terrible name.
to me,
It's
when
like Gurney.
I completely forgot his character from the first movie. So when he arrived, I was like,
So that's my.
that's a tough-looking
my
smuggler. That's
whole-
why I was like,
That's my.
You don't remember
plot
him? He's teaching him
hole or whatever.
and then you learn
because-
about the shield.
Because that's when Vlad went to the bathroom, and so when he came, when we got home,
don't go at that part.
No. When he got home, he was like, explain like that meeting. And as I was explaining, I was like, this is dumb. I was like,
He survived, and then he
yes. And he's
Became a smuggler.
mining as a cover.
No, he's a
No,
smuggler
he's a
now.
smuggler.
But they're in a mining truck.
No, but a stolen one.
No,
They're
steal
smuggling spice.
They steal.
Because the Fremen are beating up the Harkonnens, so they come and they get their own spice.
They get their own spice
steal
and they sell it. They're like
I thought he
gangsters.
was smuggling humans. Oh, he does smuggle
He
out the
initially
humans.
so how he connects with these smugglers is that he takes survivors and he smuggles them off planet with these criminals.
So like the head
and then he
of
works
the
with them.
military of the Atreus is just hanging out.
Yeah, because everybody is dead. He doesn't think there's any survivors. Like the few survivors he got off planet,
a very
and he's the last one.
recognizable person that would get caught or something.
But it's a big universe.
It's a big planet,
Fine,
and he's
fine,
with
fine.
smugglers.
And he just
he's not
like,
with the Harkonnens.
bumps into his.
It's not like
Harkonnens are not looking for
Tenerife,
smugglers.
Lily.
They don't care about that. Yeah,
Okay,
it's not Tenerife.
fine. And the other one, not that it's a plot hole, but you take such care to make this movie, and it's a little bit like the Avatar font being papyrus. It's like after all of this, you have.
I love the font.
I know, but it's just papyrus.
Beautiful. No, not the Avatar font.
Oh, the Dune font
is very beautiful.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's so beautifully done. The costumes are incredible. All the details are so incredible. And the first time we see Austin Butler, they couldn't just do another take where he's not like, "Give me that knife, baby." And the rest of the movie, his accent's great, but like in that one scene, it was weird.
So I think that because they weren't even looking at, but they weren't even really looking at his face. I think they must have gone back and been like, just give us one little bit of Elvis for the fans.
I don't know. That's just
because the rest of the time he sounds like Stellan
I know
Skarsgård.
something weird happened with his voice, although he was excellent.
He was
not to
great.
say that he wasn't great. I will say that the amount of different accents, Star Wars has that too, where some people are American and some people are British, and they're just like go.
because it's a huge universe.
But like when it's siblings, and it's when people like it gets a bit.
Because it's intergalactic. You don't know how people were raised.
I know, it's just like Batista. I love Batista, but
So Batista was really interesting to me because when I saw him in it, I was like,
they are
"Whoa."
brothers. They are brothers.
I was like, this guy is really oafy. But his character is oafy, which worked for me. Now I want to get to my Easter egg
Oh yes, please.
because it has to do with Batista.
Yeah. I mean, I do love him. I don't want to knock
So
Batista. He can,
one of the so if you remember in, I think it's The Last Jedi, where right at the end of The Last Jedi, they have Finn and Captain Phasma have like one extra last fight that's sort of pointless, but they're like, we need a moment for Finn. Let's have this moment. So they definitely wedged in Gurney fighting Batista right at the end because he kept saying the Batista character's name, I think, or the Baron Harkonnen. Anyways, they let him have one last fight. The two, like the big fights going on, and kind of stop everything to watch him just like chase him down and one on one.
Very quick, and he just kills him very quickly.
And he kills him. But the Easter egg to me in that is that in the Guardians of the Galaxy and subsequent Avengers Endgame, Batista's entire mission is to fight Thanos because Thanos killed his whole family. Mm-hmm. And in this one, he never gets to fight him one-on-one because no one can really fight Thanos one-on-one. And then in this one, it's played by Josh Brolin.
just like the reverse.
Right, it's the reverse.
So now it's the reverse.
I'm not sure that was like thought through.
Batista killed his whole family. Oh, no. Someone was thinking about, oh my God, we're getting the Thanos Drax standoff.
Yeah.
But in reverse.
You think?
It just like,
Yeah,
to me, it was a really funny Easter egg that I was like, I've seen these two fight each other multiple times on screen before.
Yeah.
This is pretty funny. And Brolin seems to keep winning though, because Drax never really is the one who beats Thanos.
But Brolin doesn't play Thanos.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Oh, that's amazing.
Do you think it was David Harbour? It could also be David Harbour.
Once they gave Thanos a
in my
voice.
mind, it's Ron Perlman.
You know what?
I mean, he looks like Ron Perlman.
Definitely thought it was Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman would have been great as Thanos.
Yeah, no, but it's
That's why I was like, I don't know what you're saying, but that's incredible. 100%. That has to be why somebody was like, let's cast Batista. That's amazing. That's such a good reverse Easter egg.
Yeah. Good for Batista. I like seeing him in all the stuff he's in.
Oh, an interesting point is that and we didn't really.
And his
talk.
character's a weenie, which I thought was pretty funny. He's like not competent.
not great.
He's super dumb.
What an interesting thing is that
Well, it's not that he's not dumb. It's that he's not a sociopath. And so the things that
So basically, to win anything, you have to be a sociopath because the emperor's like Oscar Isaac had to go because he had heart.
yeah, no.
So you have to be a complete
But-
psychotic.
But if you think about it, like, what did when Austin
Paul has heart.
Butler comes in,
he's
he
going
just
crazy.
goes and he just like bombs the entire Fremen civilization community. Bautista didn't do that. He was being more strategic and trying to
he also
actually
couldn't
fight
find
them.
it. I think he's a bit dumb. And I think we assume that Austin Butler just went and bombed the whole bombed as much as he could
until
he found it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you're meant to just.
Yeah.
He's
I was
crazy.
bummed Austin Butler's character comes about a quarter through the movie, a third through the movie. He was really good and menacing, and I applaud them for offing him when they did. But I'm also like, I hope they have some good villains coming up
Sure, there's gotta
because
be. You have all these other houses.
You have all these other houses now.
Because he was a really good villain.
What I think is interesting, and we didn't really get into this, is the adult baby in the stomach, in the like pregnant.
Well, one of the things that's like, I
Ferguson.
want to. I'm
First, it's
curious.
like-
Is it because she drinks the blue
Yes,
poison?
so that's what I was going to say. It is confirmed
That it's
because, which is not, I don't think has ever been done. Like a
Right,
mother.
Right, because they were like, "What have you done?"
They were
Right.
freaking out when they realized.
They're like,
she-
"Haven't you seen Twilight? This
Right.
adult face
Well,
baby."
that's probably where Twilight got it from.
Right. So it's because she drinks the life water or whatever,
Yeah.
the warm
Yeah, it
goo.
like mutates her baby.
Well, all the knowledge that
right, that she
she
had-
gets,
the baby
gets.
gets.
the baby has like all the history
has all
knowledge.
the history, all
on
the
the-
pain, all
on
the
the-
like, and all
But-
the stuff, and the prophecies and the visions,
Which also
and the extreme
happens
power.
to Paul. Like that's why.
And
that's
then-
like why when he wakes up, he's changed.
And the
he's
baby
like,
tells
and he
her,
can be, and
tells,
he's like telepathic.
and the baby tells Paul she loves him in his dream.
Yeah.
yeah, they're siblings. Yeah,
It's his sister.
But like,
sister.
aren't you a little suspicious of this character being like
yeah,
raised in
Well,
conversation with
yeah,
the mother?
Yeah,
Like,
so the
isn't she a
sister-
challenge to him?
No, I don't know. I didn't read that far in the books. I only read partway through the second book. But she's not a child. Like she's not born a child. She's
No, she's
born
like a-
in this like
State of
Unlike
complete
in
awareness.
Poor
Yeah.
Things, where people
It's the opposite.
molest a
It's
child
the
over and over
opposite.
and over again.
It's the opposite. So she has imagined the same powers or abilities as her mother, who spent an entire lifetime training in this cult, basically, and she's in utero has already those abilities.
It's
Like,
because
pretty
of that.
intense.
What do you think about Johnny's Tear of Life?
Oh, it was great. The teal in the desert
Well,
spring. I
the
got
desert-
chills.
I know, but like
so Sleeping Beauty,
it's so
Cinderella, I
Sleeping
love-
Beauty and stuff.
Sleeping-
But like,
Sleeping Beauty.
it just means that it's just all part of the prophecy, like a la Matrix. Like we don't really need to
I mean,
understand why it's her tear.
Well, it's her name.
It's her name. The desert spring will like bring him back to life, and that's her name.
So it's just like we just go with that.
all the other
That's why people are freaking out, because at every turn, as it's written in the prophecy, these things are coming
and
true.
also like she knows how to not cry, to not waste her water, and then she's so sad she cries.
And until then, Paul is saying, "I'm not a Messiah. I was just trained to seem like the Messiah."
Yeah.
That her name and her crying is not something we could have predicted.
Right.
Because the mother was even actively telling him not to be with her. Right.
Right.
So that, although
in,
she
like-
did say she had a part to play, and I guess she did. So
Yeah. But that's like what his whole thing is, that like it's not the prophecy that the mom survived the poison. She is trained in how to,
survive that type of
survive,
people.
which is what he's telling himself, which is what he's telling people. It's all these things. It's the same thing. Like all of his ability. His mom has always believed she could make him the Messiah, or that he is.
Yeah. The action scenes were amazing and epic.
The mom is such a good character.
The mom, Rebecca
Ferguson is
Ferguson's
so
amazing.
good in it. She's
What do you
so good.
What do you make of her? Have you been watching this whole press thing with her and how?
Oh, I don't know who she. I wish
Now
she would
everyone's
just
trying to figure out
who she's throwing under the
one
bus.
of her co-stars she called an
Number
idiot
one on the calls. Number one on the calls.
and screamed at her and
But
she calls a
from
person
Dune?
idiot.
No.
No, from-
so she immediately had to clarify that it wasn't Tom Cruise.
It wasn't Dune or
wasn't
Mission
Tom-
Impossible.
Right.
Right. She was like, oops, maybe shouldn't
couldn't-
hurt those
it couldn't
franchises
have
that made me a lot of
been.
money. Number one on the call sheet, who was abusive to her, and she asked that they be replaced with a tennis ball. so that she could act like they just CGI the person, I guess. She didn't want to work with that person, but she also said that she couldn't speak up and
couldn't have been. I'm trying to think what other big movies.
No, I know, but now what a great pop culture mystery now people have to.
Oh, yeah.
like,
What else has she
love
been
that.
in?
Probably a lot
People
of
are-
movies.
people are
It could've
gonna-
been
people are
an
gonna-
indie that she made.
People are going to go back and watch every single one of her
Right.
movies now because they'll be like, ooh, who was it?
Oh, right. Now people are just going to try to figure it out. That's
Yeah.
great. It's an interesting mystery.
Well, I don't believe it was Hugh Jackman, so I'm going to say no to Hugh
no,
Jackman.
she said it wasn't Hugh Jackman.
Right.
She affirmatively said not Hugh Jackman. Now
Am
she's
I
going to have.
supposed to
go
know
and
And
who
then
they were in
Dwayne Johnson
together?
just spoke up with her.
No, he
spoke
was
up
like,
for-
she is a treasure and I love her forever.
When did he work
like,
with her?
Tell me who the person is and I'll take care of it.
But who did he work? So now we know he's not the person.
No.
Or we think he's not the person.
Or he's just doubling down.
Or he's doubling
Wait,
down.
why
But
would
someone is
when
like.
did she work with Hugh
there's-
Jackman?
Someone is
Am I
shitting
missing
themselves.
something?
The Great Entertainer? Is that the movie? What's the movie?
Oh, The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
She's in that, Ferguson?
She has a smaller part, but she's in
Because she
it.
does. She did Minority. No, she didn't do Minority Report.
No, but she's in Mission Impossible.
Who's the bald adult baby in that one?
In what?
Oh,
one?
Emily
Mortimer. Emily. No, not Emily Mortimer.
Not Emily Mortimer.
Mortimer
It's
Ichabod
not
Marker.
Ferguson.
No. Ichabod Crane. I
No,
don't know.
Mortimer Ichabod Marker. You know what that was?
Yes.
We're not going to speak about it, but
Okay, wait. The only thing obviously there's going to be a lot more like war and battles in the third. I'm just like not excited for more Florence
Puff.
Pug.
Poog.
Pugh.
Pugh.
Yeah, I'm just like I
Florence Pugh.
didn't find.
And the idea of the two of them being married and having some
well,
sort of. Ugh.
couldn't they have
Or Zendaya.
gotten?
more Zendaya, less her. I don't like her character.
You know who I would
That
have
was the
liked
only,
though?
Like, bleh
you know
of
what
the
I would have
movie.
liked? Who played the same role in Game of Thrones? Natalie Dormer.
Oh,
She would have been good.
Who I
would've
love.
been good,
Who,
but-
by the way,
been
on
good.
Elementary, a show that only Mom and I watch,
yes.
they make Moriarty a female, and she's the Moriarty.
Oh, that's cool.
She's really menacing
She
in that show.
would have been. Natalie Dormer would have been good in that because she's, she's good.
Yeah.
It's a good role for her.
But I think, anyways, this movie is a fabulous cinematic experience. It's a go see it in the theater experience.
Yeah.
And
Anya Taylor-Joy is
saw.
perfect for an adult baby.
I hope it's nominated.
Exciting.
Now they have 10 movies nominated for Best Picture. So for me,
Oh, this will get this.
this has to be nominated for
it
Best
has to
Picture.
be. And
We didn't talk
editing. The
about
editing is incredible.
Hans Brolin playing guitar in that random scene.
Who? Hans Brolin?
Yeah.
Who's
Han
Hans
Solo.
Brolin?
Oh, Hans Brolin. That's funny. Bron Solo.
Ron Solo. What's his name in the what? Gurney? That's a terrible name.
So,
He's just like sitting in that truck, like picking a guitar.
like,
playing
I
his
enjoyed this movie.
cowboy music. This is so random.
we've,
That scene.
We've talked about all the
Makes
intense,
sense if you read the book.
weird, dark movies that came out this past year. I enjoyed this movie so much more than all of those other movies. This was such
yeah.
a cool,
I
fun
really
movie.
I want to see it again. I don't know if I'm going to get to the theaters again to see it, but I'm excited to see it again.
I don't need to see it again, and I still think it was like incredible.
Such an
It was
experience.
like
I would say if I was going to see it again, it has to be in a theater. Like I'm not interested in watching this on my TV.
or on your phone.
I have a really good
my
TV.
phone.
I mean, if you have really good headphones, though, you'll still vibrate when the worms come.
I really.
The worm.
The worm riding was so
Epic.
cool.
I will say more than that fight scene, I do not understand how it was filmed that he drops onto when he rides the worm for the first time and is so chaotic and it's so stressful and he doesn't know what's up and what's down and he has to hang like that scene. I've never seen anything like that. Even more than that
Was
fight.
there a
Shai,
worm riding
the worm's
in the-
called Shai Halud.
Really?
And I think it's spelled Shai.
It was in the
Isn't that
subtitles.
crazy?
That is weird.
And we know Shai in Hebrew means gift.
But it means something in
Yeah.
many languages. It's a
Interesting.
very common.
It's like,
It means tea in other languages. So,
Okay.
whatever. But I think that's pretty cool.
did we see worm riding in the previous movie?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
but very low. You see one character sets a thumper to ride a worm, but then she gets killed before she gets on the worm.
I believe you remember that.
By a worm?
No, by Harkonnens.
Okay.
And then
It's not clear
so
that they
think
use them
you-
for transportation though or anything like that.
But this is amazing.
that's
when you watch
amazing.
them
Right.
go on those
I
like
just, like,
worm
assume it's just, like,
convoys.
What do you
Warriors
think? What do
use
you
them like
think
Avatar.
What do you think the logistics are of them getting all those people on worms?
Well, I
and
think
off.
I suspect what happens is one or two people go and like get
Right
the
gauntlet,
worm,
right.
and then they just sort of ride it around in circles like a monorail,
Because
and
like
people jump on before
like
they get going.
Avatar, I think once they're hooked in, they can control the worm.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're
because
peeling
they
their
bring them
skin
to the
back.
south. Yeah.
Right, and then they ride them over the dunes, not through.
Right, and then it brings them, and they can tell them where to go.
And so they must.
There must
tell
be
them
some
to
sort of
stop.
like.
I mean, that is kind of wild. A little bit of animal cruelty too, because they're just like
Or it's
peeling the worm's skin
It's
back.
like
But it's like, kind of like Avatar, where they click in with their USBs.
But there isn't a USB. They're just using spikes.
Sure, but
No, but it's like, look how thick that skin is. It's not hurting
Yeah.
them.
Then how are
when
they
they peel
controlling
it
them
back,
with
did you see those little mouths?
I mean,
Like
it's amazing.
orifices? That was wild.
I think it's like,
Every little detail, the little spinning wheels behind the backs of the helmets. I remember you noticed them, right?
To like cool them down.
To cool them down.
Yeah.
All of those things, everything about that is
production
so
design,
fun
the
to look
costumes.
at.
costumes of Rebecca Ferguson when she becomes the
Are those tattoos or makeup?
Tattoos.
She tattooed her face?
Well, not Ferguson.
No.
The character.
The character's face
She
is
has
tattooed.
like way more tattoos than anybody else. Like the other.
Well, no, there's
mothers
the
just
other.
have,
No,
like,
there's
a few
another one that has a lot
No.
of tattoos.
Yeah, but I think it's because of like
If you're the
like
Reverend
how
Mother.
the Reverend, yeah, because she's so high ranking.
Okay.
It was
MVPs.
awesome. Oh, MVPs. Zendaya. Just fucking the best.
I think
For me.
Chalamet is gonna be my MVP. I think he really, yeah.
I got to go with Javier Bardem.
Oh,
He
okay.
brings a
kind
bit
of-
of the humor, which the movie did need a little bit.
He
of.
drops in at the end of that movie.
The best is when they're like, "Can't you hear his accent? He's from the South." And I like turned to Becky and I was like, "He's from Madrid." You can hear his accent.
I loved his character because he is both a mentor, but this intense believer, but then also very funny. But sometimes you're laughing at him because he believes. I just enjoyed
delivery
him.
was
I
excellent.
enjoyed him so much in that movie. Kind of fun to see him and Brolin in the same movie, right? No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Really fun to see them together in this, and really fun to see those characters kind of evolve in the same space together. Javier Bardem looked much bigger than Brolin. Brolin looks teeny in this movie compared to Javier Bardem. And then I think the Harkonnens, which were just kind of like bald weirdos in the other movie, I really enjoyed them and their planet when they showed a little bit of their planet, and just the like grossness of Stellan Skarsgård was so well done.
So well
It
done.
was so interesting and fun, and so I really liked all. Those were my general MVPs. I think they were those.
I mean,
are
the things that people are saying about him are like, it happens rarely, but there are some moments in cinema when an actor is at the peak of their powers and can capably and convincingly carry an entire scene on their shoulders, making the other actors in the audience feel like they're dancing on a string. This was his moment.
Ooh.
Like of Chalamet. Like
Yeah,
he's just such a commanding performer.
I think when he does the switch after drinking the life water, like his whole progression, it tracks so well. I think
good actor.
he makes it. He makes it he just makes it so believable.
Right, because you have to be able to get him when you pick him for the role. He's got to be the naive
Yeah.
He can do both.
kid,
He's the perfect
and then he has to
age,
be
the
turned into this dictator.
At the very end, when
Even if he's benevolent.
when he stomps his foot to have the emperor like bow down to him, like
No, and when
it
he
like
uses the voice. When
it's
he uses the
scary.
voice, I was like, yikes.
It like you go, huh?
I was like, I'm paying attention.
You're
Don't
like-
worry, I'm paying attention.
Like it, you,
Okay.
Someone
I
writes, I will get you
believe
that
him.
Oscar myself, Timothy.
Did you have an
believe it.
LVP? Obviously not a performance because everyone in this movie. is
Oh,
a
yeah,
great
Florence
actor.
Pugh.
Yeah.
Parents pick up. Ugh.
Yeah. She might be interesting in the next
Maybe,
movie.
but
I think.
she was just. I know that she just had to be that role. I feel like she's. I can't believe I'm saying this. I act like I'm an agent or something. Like she's a bit overexposed at the moment. Like
She's a little overexposed.
She's in everything, and I feel like she's everywhere, and it takes you a little bit out of the movie. That like, whereas Anya Taylor-Joy, who's in a lot of stuff, you're like excited to see because she's so well cast for that role. Whereas the daughter's name is Aaliyah or Alia or something
Yeah.
like that. Oh, interesting. Well, there's a lot of. Well, we can't.
We
have a
can't. We're
political
not
discussion
gonna.
about this
We'll
movie,
have a non.
But there are a lot of layers to this. Anyways, whereas Pooh could have been. Like I feel like it could have been anyone, and maybe it would have been more interesting to have an actor.
It was. It literally could have been
every movie right now.
It could have been absolutely
anyone. Yeah.
It could have been
like
the
my-
queen from the one whose groceries Jose carried.
Oh, Ellsworth. Yeah. Butterworth, Eliza Butterworth. It could have been. I think it could have been a lot of.
But we also don't know what's coming,
Right.
and to
well, like
Florence,
Zendaya in the first movie, she's barely in it.
and Florence Pugh, to her credit,
She's a great actress.
like Don't Worry, Darling, which people made such a big deal about not being good, which I really, really liked.
No,
she was
she's a very good
She's
actor.
good in it. But
and she's, but she is annoying. All right. What other things? Okay, I'm gonna buy rent the Skarsgårds, not the real life Skarsgårds,
The
ones in the movie.
Harkonnen.
So,
Because then Alexander
Batista, Stellan, and Elvis.
they're all so evil.
But how would you buy rent
You
Meta?
have to buy. You have to buy Elvis, I think, because he is he's the like not Darth Vader because he's obviously not Vader, but he's the even.
Well,
like,
that's
the
interesting. He's the instrument.
He's the instrument, and he is the damaged. Like one of my favorite parts of the movie is when he puts his hand in the box, and then after they explain his like psychological evaluation.
He like enjoyed it.
Right, like not the actual. You don't really see the black box scene. He just sticks his hand in, and they have the poison on his neck, and then that's it. It cuts to them explaining it, and you're already back in the theater. And so I will say that, like when they're like, he's a sociopath, enjoys pain, but is sexually has issues, and they like do this like psychoanalysis of him. I was like, oh, they're making the villain so, I don't know, villainous, that I thought like, that's cool. Then I'm going to rent Batista because he's so cute and he's trying. And I like him, even though he sounds out of place for being in space. I don't know where he's from. He sounds like he's from New York or something.
But he played Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. He literally, his
Lives in
most
space.
significant role is in space.
And then, and maybe it's just really hard to not see him as Drax. And then I'm only Mang Jabba the Skarsgård because he's so gross. Like, it's so gross.
so
that
gross.
It's so well done, but it's really, truly disgusting.
I reversed that order.
Yeah, same.
I think
I
Stellan
buy
Skarsgård, I didn't even realize it was him. I mean, once I realized.
I buy him because he's so grotesque.
Just so gross, and the way he's like always levitating, and when
you can tell he's also a sociopath because he just like murders indiscriminately as well.
And the nephew, the reason why I can't put the nephew in first place is, as threatening and as dangerous as he seemed, he's still only, when they put him in that gladiator scene, he kills like 2 drugged, starving prisoners, and then another starving prisoner, but that one isn't drugged.
It's a great red herring, though.
Because it makes you think he's not a good fighter.
But he isn't that great.
No, at the end with Chalamet.
Yeah, they have a big fight, but Chalamet
I think
offs him.
he is that great, but he's just pathetic and wants to like be able to torture, like win in a like
killing for the sake of killing.
Right,
killing
right.
for the sake
no
of
honor.
killing, and because he like doesn't want to put himself at risk. He's just a pretty boy, but he is that.
But
good.
he does tell those fawns from what's it called?
The labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
To stop
getting
stabbing the guy he's fighting.
Which is
that was a great scene. Also, all shot in black and white. All of their stuff is in black and white, which is
it really black and white, or they're just? Oh, that was really interesting. Except the binoculars, which had color, which was interesting too, because the binoculars would. It was like it was the sun. It was the black sun from their planet that made everything look that way. It was so cool.
so cool.
So
cool.
black teeth. He's black teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very.
They asked him, Seth Meyers asked him, and he was like, I just didn't brush my teeth for a while. It was really easy to do that or something.
It's really fun. Okay, what? So, buy the movie.
Huge buy. Double buy.
Buy in the theater. Go
Buy
in the
theater.
Go in the nice theater.
You watch it at home or you watch it on an iPad. Like, you don't complain that you're bored. Like
that it's not the right experience.
You'll be distracted.
If you're going to love it anyways and watch it at home or watch it on your iPad and you're going to be into it, that's great. Just don't complain.
Yeah.
Because it is an experience. And I don't know if we should also do like a bump at the beginning to explain this, but if you have to pee in this movie, the moment to go, and you got to go fast. Becky went the fastest person I've ever seen.
That was amazing.
After Austin
you need to scope out where the bathroom is before you're going. Do your research. Be prepared. And after Austin Butler has the Coliseum fight,
Yeah.
When the
Or
nun you've
honestly,
never met before
I
shows
think from
up.
any time from the Coliseum fight.
I think as soon as the Coliseum fight
when
is
he-
over and he goes and yells at his uncle, "You could have killed me," and the uncle's like, "Happy birthday, I'm going to make you emperor." Maybe you should watch
You
that
need that part.
You
So
need
after that
part.
conversation.
As soon as Skarsgård and Elvis finish their talk and
Go,
they're
Pete.
doing his birthday celebration, which is just him walking down a very long dark hallway while weird yucky fireworks are going on outside. They're like, how can we make fireworks yucky? They managed to do it. And so he's just walking down this hallway alone. The Lea Seydoux, Margot Thatcher, whatever her friggin' long name is, just basically tells him, she does the black box thing with him to see if he is a potential savior, and nothing happens. She explains everything in the next scene, so you can just miss their little chit chat. It's
So
boring.
the
That's a good part
Harkonnen
to-
bloodline must have something to do with that because he's one and so is Atreides now.
Well,
Sure.
She's cooking a baby
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. What other things have people been watching?
Oh, I saw Next Goal Wins
With Fassbender?
with
Taika
Fassbender,
Waititi?
Taika Waititi. It was very cute. It had some nice, like, Taika offbeat humor that's always really enjoyable. But overall, I'd give it, like, you know, like a Rent. Like, you might enjoy watching with your kids, but it wasn't, like, the best Taika movie, but it was sweet. It was a good sick day movie. I was home in bed with Strep, and I watched that. And I watched, for what was Lily's second time, season 2 of Life and Beth. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
One of the-
TV I've seen in a long time is season 2 Life and Beth. Highly recommend.
I loved it.
I watched Good Grief, the Daniel Levy movie that he wrote and directed. It's very sweet. It's got an interesting twist. It's not your it's a movie about a guy grieving his husband, but there's a bit of a twist in that. The cast is great. That's what you're getting into. Like, it's like a more sad movie, but I was PMSing, so it was very appropriate. I needed to have some feels. And then I watched The After, a short film nominated for an Oscar. It's on Netflix. It's about, I think, 15 minutes. I did not know what it was about and nearly threw up 5 minutes into it. So I think maybe read what it's about before. I don't know if that was the effect. I don't know. It's a bit of a hard to watch.
What's it about?
It's a father who's grieving. I'm not gonna say much
I'm
else.
not going to watch it. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's a bit much, and I'm a bit. I don't know. I guess I'm surprised. The acting is amazing. David, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm terrible at names, but I'll look it up. It's beautifully acted, but it is a hard.
Doesn't sound like my kind of movie.
No, it's not. But, David Aiello. Anyways, he's brilliant in it. And then I watched Roadhouse with Shai.
The original.
I
want to watch the original.
Fast forward.
To get ready.
We fast forwarded some scenes. It's insane.
Because we didn't have a lot of time, so we just kind of jumped in.
Explains 100% how the 80s happened.
I can't wait. I have to watch it in
It's
preparation
insane.
for the new one, which I'm so excited for.
I don't know why or how they could possibly make another version of this film. It makes no sense.
But they did it with
Lily,
Jake
can you
Gyllenhaal.
also just tell us and admit how much did that movie essentially, your husband claims to have all this martial arts training? I don't think so. I think he just copies things from this movie. Because
I
there's
will say
there,
Patrick Swayze in this movie is alarmingly similar to my husband's life
when
philosophy.
when he's training the bouncers and he gives them the 3 steps, it sounds just like when he's giving the pep talk about when you use Mugendo and when you don't.
It's pretty wild. Swayze forever. It's just the best. It's just to watch him on screen, and to have a movie I haven't seen of his was really fun. So yeah.
Okay, so I have a bunch of things. First of all, finished.
I'm reading off my Substack list,
Yeah.
which will be published in Substack.
Exactly.
Can someone add mine?
Sure.
Becky's intern, Shai and Lily.
Yeah.
I watched. Okay, so I finished True Detective, which Lily and I have a True Detective finale coming up
Next week.
with a returning guest, Elizabeth Piper, who directed the Dark Offerings.
So I don't have to go to that episode?
You don't have to go to that. So. So you don't have to go to that because
you didn't
watch it. So we're going to do a special finale episode. And so just everyone who hasn't watched it, watch it. But I know some people who have been watching it. Howie and I have been discussing it. And then, let's see, I watched, and I can't remember with like the order we've been doing things. I may have mentioned some of these before. I know a bunch of them are in past Substack issues, but Godzilla King of Monsters, in general, the MonsterVerse movies, I'm very in on them. We saw a preview for Godzilla X Kong, the new one coming, and I just love those movies. They do they're just over the top and fun and great big screen adventures, and the monsters have really been developed over the course of the movies now, so I'm very into it. I saw this movie, Maggie Moore's, which was directed by Robert Slattery from Mad Men, starring John Hamm.
I really want to see that. Is that new or is it an old?
It's like, I think it came out this
old.
year, but maybe it was made a couple years ago, or it came out in 2023. And it stars John Hamm and Tina Fey, but it is not a comedy. When I saw John Hamm and Tina Fey, I thought it was going to be like 30 Rock style. It's not a drama. It's like a kind of Fargo-esque small town crime story. Far more optimistic than a Coen Brothers movie. But at first, because I was like, wait, what did I get myself into? But as the movie went on, I felt like it really paid off. And I think John Hamm in particular was really, he's in most of the movie. Tina Fey's a side character, but he was really good in it. This was like a slow climb to me really liking it, and I really, really liked it. And then I've been on this kick of watching old movies, so I watched The Conversation with Gene Hackman, Francis Ford Coppola movie, which is about a guy. It's a little bit like Blowout with Travolta. It's a guy is a surveillance person, and it's about him overhearing what he thinks is a plot for a murder, and then he gets kind of into this web of paranoia, and it's hard to evaluate it based on how they make movies today, because in the 70s, they have these like long stretches in the middle, but it's a movie where the sound is like really, really important, which is really fun. But I finished this movie, and his character, who is this surveillance guy who's very paranoid, who lives off the grid, who doesn't have a phone and has glasses, and I'm like, is this character supposed to be the guy from Enemy of the State?
Oh, yeah.
And then I Googled it, and it's never acknowledged because the character in Enemy of the State has a different name. But in the Enemy of the State, when they show a young picture of him, they show a picture from The Conversation. So it's like this either an Easter egg or like a tribute, or
it might be a
is
tribute.
Actually the same character.
Or it might be a tribute.
And they just don't have the same name because he wouldn't have the same name. Why would he use the same name? Anyways, but I was watching this being like, it was such an interesting conclusion to come to, because I haven't seen Enemy of the State in so many years.
Great movie.
But now I'm going to rewatch it. But I'm now going to rewatch it thinking it's the same character, because it's the same, like, it's a totally believable evolution of that character. So that was a really fun thing. And then I'm in the middle right now of watching, and also I'll report back on this, The Hustler with Paul Newman and George C. Scott, and Jackie Gleason plays a guy named Minnesota Fats.
Cool.
Which is a great name, which is the real prequel, although I don't know if it was intended ever to have a sequel, but it is the real prequel, or not prequel, it's the first installment of the movie Color of Money, which takes Paul Newman's character and spins it forward 20 years.
Right.
So I'm kind of watching these like old characters. Anyways, I'm on this kick. I'm really enjoying it. Watching these more like patient older movies. That's been a lot of fun. With that, thanks for doing this in person.
It was so fun to see the movie in person together and then do this episode.
It was really fun.
Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Friday Night Movie, the sibling rivalry and pop culture podcast. Join the Friday Night Movie family by following @FryNightMovie on all of the socials and visiting our website, FryNightMovie.com. Our theme song is by What Does It Eat? And make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.